So, as you can see, we've got two channels here, although it would be equally plausible, for example, if we were using the smaller Pt6 DJ, to simply bus both deck C and deck D, the two remix decks, through one channel on the mixer. In some ways, is actually preferable. We have two channels here because we have them available, because our audio card has lots of spare outputs, but it would actually be more common for me, since I perform with an Pt6, when I'm using an F1 like this, both the decks on the F1 will be bused through the same channel on the mixer, and I will be using the filter and volume controls here to make sure all the levels and so on are correctly set. Now, the relationship between the F1 and the CDJs is kind of intuitive and very handy. Essentially, we have CDJs to play our primary tracks. We can, bring stuff in and out like so on. We can do our beat matching as necessary. We do our primary performance. Our primary show is done using mastered rendered audio playing out of these two decks here. The F1 is really just kind of an ear candy or a little additional thing. It's for adding little component pieces, adding little bits of texture, adding little bits of pizzazz, so that we have the kind of opportunity to customize and add a little bit more performance, a little bit more customization on top of tracks that have already been mixed down. Obviously, it's something you want to do kind of carefully and with a lot of taste. This can be overdone very easily, and if you're not careful and judicious about what you're doing, it tends to sound awful. My recommendation when performing using remix sets like this would be very much to create your own libraries of remix sets. There are instructions online for how to create your own if you're interested in doing that. Create your own libraries from material from your own productions, samples and snippets taken out of tracks you like, and build up a bank or a library of particular loops, particular patterns that work with your style of music that you understand. Something that I've commonly been known to do is, for example, with this track Gwenon, I might actually make a sample library. If I decide that Gwenon is a track I want to layer stuff into, I want to do a little bit of kind of playful soloing over the top of, I might actually go in and make a remix set or a sample library based on sounds pulled from Gwenon or sounds that I know mix with Gwenon quite well, some additional highlight loops and so on. So that when I load up this track here, I could load up the corresponding remix set into my remix deck and know that the sounds I'm working with will be appropriate to that track or a set of tracks. Like anything, it's very much a question of the more time you put into it, the better quality results you'll get out of it. This isn't something that will produce good results instantly. It will tend to sound awful until you manage to narrow down what you're trying to achieve and come up with some very specific sounding additional samples to work with your music.